As the mutual attacks between Israel and Hamas continue, an unexpected move has come from the Palestine Liberation Army. The Palestine Liberation Army has cornered the Hamas militia located in the Gaza Strip. Hamas forces are under blockade. The Israel Defense Forces recently announced that they will launch a ground operation against the Gaza Strip, warning Gaza citizens to evacuate the city and migrate south. Gazans who took their belongings with them took to the streets. The people of Gaza, who left their homes, formed queues for kilometers on the streets. Some of them chose to stay in Gaza despite all these warnings. The vast majority of the Palestinian people do not consider this war launched by Hamas against Israel justified. For this reason, the vast majority of Palestinian citizens prefer to leave the city rather than support Hamas. However, the Hamas leadership is pursuing a very aggressive policy that the Palestinian people do not support it. After this war between Israel and Hamas began, the Hamas militias resorted to looting because they could not find the support they wanted. Hundreds of Palestinian citizens, mainly homeless citizens, were kidnapped by the Hamas militia and recruited into the organization. These people who were forced to fight were beaten if they did not fight. The last point that overwhelmed the patience of the Palestinian Authority was that the Hamas militia did not allow Palestinian citizens to leave the city. Despite the Israeli army warning to evacuate the city before launching airstrikes against Gaza, the Hamas militia did not allow the Palestinian people to leave the city, placing trucks and buses at the exit points of the city. When the Israeli army launched airstrikes against Gaza, it was too late for everything. Although the Palestinian people wanted to leave the city, the refusal of the Hamas militia to allow it caused anger against the Hamas administration to grow even more. After these tensions decayed between Hamas and the Palestinian people, an interesting statement came from the Palestinian president. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas stated that Hamas does not represent Palestine and that the legitimate representative of the Palestinian people is the Palestine Liberation Organization. The really interesting thing started after that. The Palestine Liberation Army, the military wing of the Palestine Liberation Organization, stated that they had decided to fight against Hamas and that they were taking action to expel Hamas forces from the Gaza Strip. Hundreds of reservists, including retired commanders who previously served in the Palestine Liberation Army, have been called up to the army again. Soldiers of the Palestine Liberation Army and Hamas militia faced off for the first time in the town of al-Musadar, located in the Gaza Strip. The Palestine Liberation Army soldiers who entered the town of al-Musadar, which is under the control of the Hamas militia, carried out an hours-long confrontation with the Hamas militia in this town. According to information obtained from regional sources, an army outpost belonging to Hamas forces was heavily damaged during this deconfliction between Palestinian soldiers and Hamas militiamen. At the same time, more than 60 Hamas soldiers stationed at the police station lost their lives during these clashes. Palestine Liberation Army soldiers, after entering the town of al-Musadar, allowed Palestinian citizens who were stranded in the town to leave the town. Thousands of Palestinian citizens forcibly held by the Hamas militia are said to have left the town and migrated towards the south of the city. Do you think the Palestine Liberation Army has a chance against the Hamas militia? The Palestine Liberation Organization, which was founded in 1964 thanks to the intensive support of the then Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser, was founded due to the leadership deconfliction between the Arab states. Soon after, the Arab states established military schools to educate Palestinians in the direction of struggle, and thus the Palestine Liberation Army was established. With the Palestinian Liberation Army taking action against the Hamas militia, Israeli army tanks began to appear in the border area. The Israel Defense Forces had issued a statement that they had postponed the upcoming ground operation against Gaza. However, it is expected that Israel's ground operation will be launched with this fight, launched by Palestine Liberation Army soldiers against Hamas. On the other hand, attacks against Israel through Lebanese territory have started to increase. With the Lebanese Hezbollah increasing its attacks against Israel, the Israeli army demanded the evacuation of residential areas 2 kilometers from the Lebanese border. Attempts by the Hezbollah militia to infiltrate Israel through the Lebanese borders continue. The Israeli army has increased its security measures at the border to the highest level in order to prevent Hezbollah from entering Israel's borders. Lebanese Prime Minister Najib Mikati said in a statement that there is no point in going on an adventure on the Israeli border and opening Jaffa, but Israel has clearly stated that it will destroy Lebanon. The outbreak of a major Hezbollah threat in the north of the country, while mutual deconflictions between Israel and Hamas continue, has greatly angered Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. Israeli government officials have given a message that they will launch a war against Lebanon by making statements about the opening of a second front. The Hezbollah militia is trying to weaken the Israeli army by targeting outposts located on Israel's border with Lebanon. Israel, on the other hand, has already begun preparations for war against Lebanon by creating a 4-kilometer buffer zone in this region. The ongoing tension between Israel and Iran for many years seems to have created an opportunity for Iran. Does the Hezbollah organization, supported by Iran, really dare to start a war against Israel? The Israeli army announced that all citizens living in 28 settlements and towns located near the Lebanese border will be evacuated. With this evacuation, Israeli citizens living on the Lebanese border will be placed in hotels and guest houses located in safer areas. The Haaretz newspaper operating in Israel wrote that all expenses will be covered by the Israeli government. At the moment, Hezbollah's claims that it will launch a major attack on Israel are occupying the agenda. The Israel Defense Forces said that Iran had given instructions to Hezbollah and recently made statements that Hezbollah was planning a major attack on Israel. The possibility of Hezbollah opening a second front against Israel scares many experts. War analysts say that in such a situation, it is possible that even superpowers, such as the United States and China, could come face to face. Israeli National Security Advisor Tzachi Hanegbi stated openly that they would destroy Lebanon. Hanegbi stated that if the Iranian-backed Hezbollah organization starts a war on a second front against Israel, they will destroy Lebanon, and there is a possibility that the war will spread to the entire Middle East. Following these statements by Israeli official Tzachi Hanegbi, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin made a suggestion that Israel should not launch an attack against Hezbollah. After this proposal by the U.S. Defense Minister, an Israeli army spokesman issued a statement. "Our mission is to fight Hamas," an Israeli army spokesman said, adding, "We are maintaining our additional capabilities in case Hezbollah makes the mistake of testing us." However, Israeli army spokesman Daniel Hagari called for war, saying, "We can attack anywhere in the Middle East if we see the need."